certainly we need every edge possible psychologically. We know from performance psych, even people do the mountain pose in yoga, or the power, triumph pose of raising your arms over your head, or shouting
Yeah,
out something really loud, like, no one's going to defeat me, like they recommend, like, before a fight, or just anytime you're facing a major challenge. I'm giving a presentation later today in front of 500 people. I got some nerve just to scream it out. It kind of sends this message to yourself. Really, the person that needs to believe that you're the king is you, right? Before.
100%. I tell you what, like throughout my career, I've had so many ups and downs. I've had, the positives, and then I've had the negatives, and you go through your losses and your wins, and more than anything, I feel like my journey as a fighter helped me to be able to perform and deal with things under the most unbelievable amount of stress. So whether I lost the fight or won the fight, the mental things stopped getting to me. And I have about over 20 fights, and I really mastered my own mental as far as how to perform. So whether if you go into an event and you're not ready physically for any reason, then you'll feel the consequences when you're out there. But mentally is huge, because you can have, not you can go in on a fight with short notice, know that your gas tank isn't that great, but because you're mentally prepared and understand that, you can still overcome and bring things to your strength by understanding emotionally how to handle that fact. And that's the biggest thing that I try to get every person that I come in contact with, is to understand your own personal emotions. Understand that your body has an involuntary reaction to certain things. If I put my hand in cold water, it's gonna feel cold. If I put heat under my hand, it's going to feel hot. And understanding that those involuntary things have nothing to do with what your action is based upon that situation. And so, and this relates all across the board, whether you have a deadline at work and you're under this maximum pressure. If I don't get this presentation right, I lose my job. Well, all those facts are still going to be there. How you emotionally respond to that doesn't change what the fact is. But being aware that, the outcome is in your control, that's what you focus on. And I believe becomes like a great power. When I look at my career, there are so many things that I'm disappointed about. I felt like, the amount of training that I did, and the people that I trained with, and the standard that I held myself to. Like, if I look at it a certain way, it's easy to say, hey, I didn't do what I felt like I should have done. It didn't turn out, it didn't play out the way that I thought it would have. Because you look at what it takes to be, let's say, a champion. We don't know how many components there are. Let's say there are 5. You have to be tough. You have to have a good camp. You have to be in shape. You have to have a diet. So there are all these components. There are some guys who will never have all of the components of what it takes, right? And they still go out there, perform. They still do well. They still, some of them, defy the odds and become a champion. But I'm a guy who, in my mind, I felt like from the beginning, I have everything that it takes to be a champion. Good camp, good this, good that. And, so when things don't happen, sometimes you're like, whoa, what happened? And for me, this brought me to a deeper understanding of what my journey was about. And what I didn't have as I was fighting and I was active, I didn't have a lot of great coaching, in the sense of, like, it was always separated. You have one guy doing this. He's your wrestling coach. He's your grappling coach. He's your, striking coach. He's your strength and condition. And there was never like a one guy who brought it all together for me. So I was basically trying to piece together my own and do it all myself. And the value for me now is the experience. Like, everything that I've gone through has brought me to to just this big wealth of knowledge, then now, being a little more focused on being a coach and trainer, that I bring to the table this priceless for these young athletes coming up. I've been there, at different levels at different times, but I've been where they're trying to get to, and I performed at the highest level.
Yeah, that's amazing what you said, Kevin, because it's true. I mean, a lot of that, right? Physically, we get, especially in a sport, an individual sport, and so you're getting all these components of training to make you into this perfect athlete. But the identity of an athlete, right? Who am I? What does it mean to? How do I deal with adversity? How do I deal with losses? How do I not take that as when the only thing, it's like there is no team, right? Like how do you handle a loss as an MMA fighter? I mean, not to cast aspersions on anyone, but we've seen fighters who had great careers and then they lost two in a row, and that they couldn't handle anymore. I mean,
Yeah,
because that's just becomes a whole different identity. So the fact that you've taken that disappointment, which is real, right? When we don't get the results we want, we feel the hurt, we feel the pain. We've put in all the hours of training. Like you said, you covered all the components. So
yeah,
what's missing? And a lot of times, as athletes who want to succeed, we point the finger at ourselves. Well, it must be me. But if we don't rush to that blaming portion of it, it's like it can turn into your gold. It sounds like you turn that disappointment into, no, this is the wisdom, right? This is what people need. This is what athletes need. And whether you be a weekend warrior or be someone who's about to get into the career, you need this ability not only to get it from a coach, but to have for yourself this ability to figure out, right, what am I feeling? How do I deal with adversity or when things aren't going right? Like, how do I turn these situations into further knowledge and wisdom?